There are approximately 7.53 billion people today living on this earth, and the range of problems we face is no shock. From issues that range from our favorite store not having a shirt in our size to a possible World War III outbreak. Yet one of today's biggest problems most of us don't even consider. What happens behind closed doors still happens. Beatings and abuse and torment and torture. Some of these most of us will never have to fluster about, yet for some, this is their inescapable reality. Domestic violence is one of the most important human rights issues of today, falling under many categories. It happens to many people and is more common than what most people would assume. This issue is horrifying and widespread. This topic of discussion is plentiful to many, with 20 people per minute being physically abused, according to the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey 2010. Most can only assume why domestic violence is extremely important and relevant. These horrors target the two most vulnerable populations, women and children. The extensiveness of domestic violence reaches others as well, even men. However, it is true that the main crowds are indeed women and children. Opposing Viewpoint states the CDC's National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey in 2010 found that 1 in 4 women have been a victim of violence, while 1 in 7 men were victims of domestic abuse. Women ages 16 to 24 are at higher risk for domestic violence. Young girls in college, and sadly even in high school, are more likely to have experienced such an act than others. While most young teen girls are going to prom, taking finals, these highly unfortunate girls are being abused. With kids being a part of domestic violence, it's even more heartbreaking young children experience higher rates of maltreatment than other children. In 2016, children aged 3 and younger had a maltreatment rate of 15 per 1,000, compared with 10 per 1,000 for children ages 4 to 7, 8 per 1,000 for ages 8 to 11, 7 per 1,000 for ages 12 to 15, and 5 per 1,000 for children ages 16 to 17. This is according to the CSP 2018. In this case, young children ranging from 0 to 3 are at highest level of risk. Letting that sink in, it's truly sickening. These kids can be considered babies. People, whether it be young teen girls or infants, are being impacted by domestic violence every day. Abuse causes extreme trauma and mental effects, as well as physical effects for everybody impacted. For example, Anne seemed to be having a great relationship with her boyfriend. He knew about how her parents were abusive to her as a child. Then one night her boyfriend was getting physical after being asked to stop kissing her. She tried fighting back but failed. Her boyfriend sexually assaulted her. Domestic violence happens every day to plenty of people. Daily life is infected with these horrors, changing the victims for life and giving trauma and pain that they can never forget. According to the Joyful Heart Foundation, such effects can include bruises, sprains or breaks, red or purple marks on skin, chronic fatigue, sexual dysfunction, etc. Along with those, domestic violence can also cause depression or prolonged sadness, alcohol and drug abuse, and suicidal thoughts. These are only some of the listed effects. The most shocking piece of information is how domestic violence can possibly lead to suicide, which is one of the leading causes of deaths in the United States, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. The problems domestic violence causes is extremely costly to our society and continues to grow in cost yearly. Cost of intimate partner violence against women alone in 1995 exceeded an estimate of $5.8 billion. These costs included $4.1 billion in direct cost of medical and mental health care. This is according to Cost to Society 2018. That was over 20 years ago and already over $3 billion just for abuse against women. Now surely, as human populations continue to grow and mature, these costs would go down. No, in fact, they continue to climb, higher than ever. According to a 2004 study from the University of California, San Francisco, the total cost of IPV against women in the United States exceeds $8.3 billion each year. Over $8 billion per each year that passes, and still only included women. Yes, these costs are very much needed for health aspects. However, the economy could thrive if this cost putting people across the scale, it's essential that people are educated and taught that abuse is prevailing continuously right under people's noses. The effects and impacts is appalling. Humanity as a whole should try to do better and needs to do better.